As you saw, President Trump just moments ago visiting the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, taking a look at the headquarters. Pretty incredible scene. Called Powell out to his face for cost overruns on those renovations at the headquarters. A reporter asked at one point, Mr. President, you're a developer. What would you say to a building manager who did all this? And the president gave that signature line from The Apprentice, you're fired.
It looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1,
3.2.
You just added in a third building is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire him.
Do you think this issue, Mr. President, gives you cause to do that?
Well, I'm here just really with the chairman. He's showing us around, showing us the work. And so I don't want to get that. I don't want to be personal.
He brought the receipts. He was joking about a firing, I think. But could Powell be the next head to roll? Have you noticed the lefty liars are dropping like flies ever since the president was elected in a landslide? First, it was a drip. It was CNN's Jim Acosta, gone. Poof, bye-bye. Joyless Reed at MSNBC. Now it's a full-on deluge of Democrat decline. Terry Moran fired at ABC News after that bizarre Twitter tirade against White House aide Stephen Miller. Then left-wing NPR and PBS had their federal funding yanked. CBS ousted Stephen Colbert. He had a little temper tantrum the other night about it. And the president taunted his opponents on Truth Social by declaring he's hearing it's going to be ABC's Jimmy Kimmel who's acts next, which might be coming. But today, almost out of the blue, the next sacrificial lefty was revealed. The liberal ladies of The View are, well, taking a little break, per Joy Behar.
Before we go on hiatus, we only have one more show after this. I'm allowed to say that, right?
Too late now.
So it doesn't really matter.
We'll see. As a matter of time, the daily drumbeat of shrill anti-Trump commentary had gotten so tired, not to mention that after the president won that defamation suit against ABC News to the tune of about $16 million during the presidential transition, ABC lawyers were monitoring every word uttered on the show and forcing Behar after commercial breaks to read hostage video-style disclaimers about lies they spewed before the break. Behar, no doubt, gritting her teeth as she apologized to Trump cabinet picks like Pete Hegseth, actually being a little fair to Team Trump, went over about as well as how Colbert is taking his sacking over at CBS.
Friday, Donald Trump posted, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings." How dare you, sir? Would an untalented man be able to compose the following satirical witticism? Go yourself.
So mature. Now the left will lose it again and say the ladies of The View might be censored. Silenced by a dictator. Same old tired talking points when the dirty little secret is the real reason they're all getting canceled. Nobody wants to buy what they're selling. A growing number of Americans are tired of the whining when the president keeps winning. Basically, the marketplace for wacky left-wing ideas has melted down. You can see it. Enter Jerome Powell. He's normally dealing with market meltdowns of the Wall Street kind and started out as a free market Republican, nominated for the job by the president in the first term. But sadly for Powell, he chose to fall into line with the left, cutting interest rates to try and prop up Kamala during her campaign, and then stubbornly refusing to cut rates now and give the president the jet fuel that he says will further propel the emerging golden age of America. Powell insisting he has to keep rates high to fight inflation, when this president has already been whipping Bidenflation.
Waiting for to reduce rates is to understand what will happen with really the tariff inflation. And there's a lot of uncertainty about that. Every forecaster you can name who is a professional forecaster with adequate resources and forecasts for a living is forecasting a pretty significant. Everyone that I know is forecasting a meaningful increase in inflation in coming months from tariffs because someone has to pay for the tariffs.
They did not increase inflation. They did not plunge us into a recession. That was another liberal lie. The stock market, as you know, at record highs right now. Tariffs are bringing in billions of dollars to at least start to lower our debt. And the president is right. Now is the time to cut rates so you can refinance your mortgage, save some money. The housing market is at a standstill because of Powell. But notice how the Fed chair thinks he's so much smarter than you. Everyone that I know, everyone I talk to says inflation is going up. This is the elitist attitude that infects the swamp with so much smugness. Boy, with that attitude, he may have a future, Powell, on The View, if they ever get back on the air and if they broaden the table to include a dude, I guess. But the king of smug, of course, is another lefty icon, former President Barack Obama. Remember how even Democrats got peeved during that last campaign when Obama tried to shame black men into voting for Kamala, as if they were not smart enough to think for themselves. No wonder why President Trump got a record number of black votes. The record for Democrats has been real in the age of Trump. Take a look at this graphic. A 21.7 point shift of black men away from the left, an 8.7 point shift of black women away from the left, 19 point shift of Hispanic men, 7 point shift of Asian men, 16.5 point shift of Asian women, and an over 17 point shift of Hispanic women over to the Republicans. And now comes karma for Obama's fake narrative about Russia collusion. The Trump DOJ has launched now a strike force to explore potential criminal charges against various Obama-era figures for those liberal lies. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of National Intel, has done a masterful job so far of exposing the truth about how Obama himself directed that fake narrative in late 2016 that the then President-elect Trump was a tool of Russia because of some unverified intel that Obama officials like John Brennan, James Comey, and others slapped together to try and undermine the new Republican president. Interesting, because a lot of people have missed the other big bomb that Gabbard dropped yesterday. She revealed those same Obama officials sat on unverified intel the Russians gathered about Hillary Clinton. Namely, that she had alarming health problems, both psychological and physical. Hillary was secretly placed on heavy tranquilizers after suffering angry outbursts, we're now told, and dealing with heart disease and type 2 diabetes.
The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department. They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers.
The Russian president, Vladimir Putin, sat on all that. He was hoping Hillary would win and Russia would have all that dirt on her, the exact opposite narrative that Obama and his henchmen fed to the American people. I get why Putin wanted to keep that hush-hush, but what's the mainstream media's excuse? I mean, they exhaustively reported for years on every unverified claim against President Trump. None of their impeccable intel sources knew anything about Hillary's health problems. Come to think of it, we saw Hillary's decline with our own eyes. Like when she fell, remember this, at a 9/11 remembrance ceremony right on the eve of the 2016 election? She literally had to be helped into that van and rushed away. I covered that campaign. Her aides insisted it was nothing, and most of the media looked the other way, just like the media looked the other way during Joe Biden's cognitive decline, when we saw with our own eyes the videos that the left lied about as well and called deep fakes. Maybe somebody at CNN could write a book now about how they always knew Hillary was in decline. They just, sat on it for a few years.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.